basically evolving those technologies. Like I would say IEC 61511 is one of the standard which is the guiding factor. Then your for detections, there are certain different standard 618821. So there are different international standard which are not for that industry, but we are adopting those industries, those standard for renewable sector. In hydrogen production, India, we use OIST standards. We use NFPA2 codes because hydrogen is something which is a fuel for future, but it comes with certain challenges also. Uh, Audience knows that hydrogen is having a high calorific values. It's a if in a confined space, it is just like a bomb. So you have to do certain things to mitigate those standards. So using hydrogen detectors, making certain safe limits, and in India things are bit different from the Europe. When we were doing the experiment in Dwarka for the hydrogen, so we were having a challenge. After 5 years, we have to go for a hydro test of the bullets. So that is a very different. You say ki Dwarka is just like a very populated space and near to the airport. So we had no other option. If I have to hydro test a bullet, I have to get all the hydrogen vented out, and it's near to the air. I can't vent 50 kg of hydrogen in the atmosphere. So that challenge has never been there in European or American countries. So we have to adopt a very different pathway. What we did, we designed our own burner and we burned 550 kg of hydrogen just for the safe passage. And after that, we introduced, though that is not a part of any standard, we introduced in our all plants. Now we have designed something so that if we have to evacuate any bullet, so we have made an arrangement. So from 500 kgs, we stepped down to 1 or 2 kgs. We did our customized burner requirement and we burnt it out. Because hydrogen is something, because if we go in the deep theory, because kids are there, they would they may appreciate hydrogen makes a column. If you vent the hydrogen, it's make a column, and static charge of any aeroplane can make this happen. So we did certain exercises. So after finalizing all these things, we said, okay, though the standard says you have to vent the hydrogen, but we said we won't vent the hydrogen, burn the hydrogen for the same thing. So there are certain things that you have to evolve based upon your requirements. Like in EVs also, like in HCNG vehicles also, CNG vehicles also, our quality standards are different because our geographical terrain is different from the world. Our ambient conditions are different. Our workmanship is different. Like EVs came, few.
Mukeshji, you have to conclude it.
Okay, just give me. What I'm saying is that, sir, though there are the defined quality standards, but we have to mend the standard according to our requirements. In the nutshell, I can say only thing we can mitigate by taking international standard with our experience, with our industry experience also, plus making a skilled workforce who works on those areas. Because these kids are the future of tomorrow. When they will go out of in industry, the industry is very different what you study. So you have to make yourself much aware of the things that when you go in the industry, you are fully aware of the industry. So academics nowadays thinks your NEP curriculum is different. You have a good things to come. Like we had a only curriculum. We had a very limited resources. Now resources are available, so you have to make yourself competent enough that you adult the quality procedures. You are well aware of the things. So in the combining all these things, so green pathways are available things are available. Only we have to adapt according to our environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. For the youngsters who are sitting in the audience, I would like to tell that Institution of Engineers have very recently launched a specialized program on EV battery maintenance engineers at our Indian Staff College of India. And there is overwhelming response. The first batch is just getting under the evaluation, and then we are going to have the second uh, batch, which will start learning on the future requirement of the world, that is EV battery maintenance. Our next panelist is Dr. Namita Goyal. She is heading the quality at Amrita Hospital, Faridabad, where she looks after quality and clinical excellence program. She is Bachelor of Dental Study and Masters in Hospital Administration. With her, she has more than 14 years of experience of working with hospitals, big names, Narayana Hospital, Medanta, Lucknow, Apollo, etc. We were just talking on the sideline of that tea break, uh, and then she said, "I'm not aware that how, as a medical professionist, I will talk about healthcare to engineers. What is the engineering aspect of it?" I said, "Yes, uh, our theme is more on inclined on quality." And in one of the such discussions and one presentation, I was informed that there is a term which is called as hospital in acquired infection. Hospital acquired infection. You carry a small ailment, a minor one, you go for some surgery. You stay there for 1 or 2 days. And during this stay in the hospital, you acquire an infection. So that is how the quality is so important in even healthcare. And yesterday, the inaugural address, I had said that there are certain areas where we don't consider the cost as the deciding factor. That is my education, my child's education, or my family's healthcare requirement. So I do the best of the best which I can manage. So, how, as a common man, I get assurance that the healthcare services and the people who are responsible for maintaining highest quality. So what are the actually what are I am just reading through. You are a NABH assessor also. So probably if you can throw some light about how quality is being maintained in healthcare. And I request you to conclude in 12 minutes. Actually, idea is we will give some time for the audience to actually ask the questions here.
No problem, sir. I'll take care of the time limit. And a very good afternoon to all of you. So it is a privilege to be part of such forum to, represent healthcare in a forum with so much rich in engineering expertise. So that was what I was discussing with sir before tea break. So for us in healthcare industry, I would say quality is not just technical specification. For it is matter of human lives. Everything, every process, every system we implement in hospitals or in healthcare impacts patient and also touches patient. It can impact patient care. So, as Sir said, talked about hospital acquired infections. So, I'm very glad that, as a not from a healthcare background, but you know about this term, healthcare associated infection. So, that is how quality has evolved in healthcare over the period of time. If you were talking 20 years, behind this thing, so there was not much talking about quality. It was like hospitals are in, the doctor is doing whatever he's doing. Doctor was treated as a god, but now people question. And I think that is the way what we are also trying to do as healthcare administrators, quality professionals, to bring in that culture that no, things can go wrong. We have to question, we have to ask. So all those things have come up through NABH. Like most of the people, I think, sitting here would know that when you enter a hospital, you see a logo or a seal which is pasted which says NABH accredited. So it is nothing but a quality accreditation which Government of India now has mandated for basic CGHS, ECHS patients empanelment, that if the hospital wants to get empaneled with these things, they have to be NABH accredited. So this is not voluntary now, this is mandatory in healthcare now. So if you want to enroll such schemes, you have to get that accreditation. And that accreditation system itself is very robust. It's not only starts from the infrastructure you have. You know, we have guidelines in NABH which talks about infrastructure, the spacing in the rooms, the positive pressure that have to be maintained in certain areas, the negative pressure that has to be maintained in certain areas. Then going to the manpower. So manpower is very, very important aspect in healthcare. The doctors should be qualified enough, the right qualification to do the right procedure. The nurses skilled enough. The paramedicals, the technicians which are there, they have to be well trained. So when an employee or a doctor or a nurse joins a hospital, right from day one, they are inducted in the system. There are various rigorous groups of trainings that are given to them before they start, on floor seeing the patients. So there are simulation labs available where they can practice. So apart from infrastructure, manpower, what is most important is care. So standardized and uniform care, that is what is to be given to all the patients. So this can be achieved if we have certain guidelines. So now what is happening is we have all the specialties, like we talk about cardiology, we talk about pulmonology, they have their own group of societies. There's enough literature that is written, there are enough research that has been done, and they are published, and there are accepted guidelines. So in hospitals, we follow something like you're saying green pathway, we follow something called as clinical pathway. So every disease that we treat, every surgery that we perform, has a designed and specified clinical pathway which has to be followed. And this is being monitored by the quality professionals, administrators, whether that pathway was followed, not followed, were there any variations. So it is now the doctors are also being watched that what they are doing. It is not anymore that, whatever they are doing is right. So those clinical pathways, clinical guidelines are very important. And apart from that, our nursing team is continuously trained, continually handhold on the floors, and there are SOPs, well written SOPs, workflows, that define what is to be done, where, how it is to be done. We aim to have a single same standard at every aspect. Even if a nurse A is delivering something, the nurse B should also deliver the same thing in the same manner. So that is quality. Then coming to the fourth and the most important is technology and equipment. That also plays a very important role in hospitals and healthcare. So we are dependent as clinicians, as nurses, we are dependent on a lot of equipments that we use in our daily this thing. Simple, when we are administering a medicine to a patient, we use something called as syringe pumps or infusion pumps, right, which controls the rate at which the medicine goes to a patient. So the right equipment with the proper quality checks and maintaining the dose and appropriate level is very, very important. So these medical devices, then ventilators, so they are also very important. There are instances reported, like in during COVID, we must have heard that there were ventilators failures. They were not able to deliver oxygen to the patients in the right amount, which led to preventable deaths. Similarly, a small equipment like infusion pumps not delivering the medicine appropriately in the right dose. There was a major recall in US in 2019 for all the infusion pumps that were manufactured by a particular company. So all these things matter a lot, and they're all part of our accreditation standards. So as part of our accreditation standards, we monitor all those things in the hospitals. We maintain SOPs, we audit, we monitor KPIs. So we define KPIs for all, whether it is doctors, nurses, even the administrative procedures, purchases, what we are procuring is the right thing that we are procuring. And then we maintain that data and that we send to our accreditation agencies every quarter. So it is not one time, it is continuous. That is the most important thing in healthcare. So three things: consistency, accountability, and continuous improvement is one thing that we work in healthcare. And all these healthcare associated infections, there are basically four healthcare associated infections that we say. One is related to your, is called as COTI. It may not be the term that everybody is familiar here, but it is like urinary tract infections, which is associated with the catheter. So when you go for a surgery, at times, you're bedridden, a catheter is put. So that can lead to infection. Another is ventilator associated pneumonia. Then we have surgical site infection and the fourth one is CLEPSY, which is bloodstream infection. Again, it is catheter related. So there are appropriate care bundles for all these four infections, which has to be followed during the stay by nurses, by doctors, how they insert this catheter, how they maintain this catheter. There has to be a daily cleaning. Everything is there. But whenever there is a breach, uh, you may get an infection. Yes, you may get an infection. But so that is why this quality and NABH, everything comes into place. So at Amrita Hospital, Faridabad, we try to maintain all these protocols well in place. And we try to provide patient care at its best. So for us in healthcare, I think quality is not an option, but it is fundamental because we deal with human lives day in and day out. So I think I answered your question. In case there is anything, please let me know.
Yeah, you have covered almost every aspect of it. And I think everybody who has listened to your operation might be well assured of a proper care in a hospital which looks after the quality as also their mission. Our next panelist is Mr. D.K. Diwan. He is a mechanical engineer with MBA in operation management with 40 plus years of experience in automobile industry and core competence of quality management system, lean manufacturing, etc. in one of the leading automobile company, Maruti Suzuki. Sir, in our theme, digital technology is also a word which we have used. That is also one of our target. And how this digitization, this revolutions in digitization has helped in improving the quality. So this is what I would like to listen from you, sir.
Thank you. My sincere gratitude to all sitting here for giving me opportunity to be here. So regarding the digital inequality, I recall those days. I started my career from the Faridabad in 1982 when we worked in here in the factories. Then all things were manual. The production processes, recording of the parameters, most the things were manual things. Even computers were just started at that time. So at that time, the need of the customer was also limited. The factories were producing the product which was like monopoly product. Customer would get that product and he will not ask anything. Why this quality is bad or good. There was nothing was there. But when the Maruti started in 1984, then it created some expectations in the customers that the quality can be like this also. Okay. Then the customer also realizes that they also raise their expectations, and with that the producer, the OEM, has to produce that part which meets the customer expectations. But now the definition of quality has changed.